Good morning, good lunchtime, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, welcome to sunny Edinburgh. It's been a little while because I've been busy doing some work stuff, so I've not really been live in the group, but I thought I might share some of the work stuff that I have been doing. So I've been going live on LinkedIn, just did my fourth hour-long session with a co-host today on LinkedIn, and the goal is really to make things look a little bit different from what everybody else is doing on LinkedIn. And I wanted to show a couple of bits and pieces where I'm sort of utilizing desk space or screen estate, whichever you want to call it, a little differently from most presentations that I've seen. So of course this could equally as well be on Teams or on Zoom or on, as it was today, Google Meet as well. So this is what I've been doing. So I kind of have that little intro going on, which people seem to quite like. Then I tell them it's all a stream and they can drop in their live comments, and I've specifically left a space over there for you to drop your comments in. I've had to use StreamYard, of course, because it's LinkedIn, and if I want to drop in the comments I have to use StreamYard. A little bit of a restriction, so not Ecamm's fault at all, but I'd love that feature to appear one day, and I'm no doubt that it will do eventually, but waiting for that one to come. So what I do then is a little bit of intro to what I'm going to talk about during the show. So here we go. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 shows in this series coming up. And these are the type of things that we're going to be talking about. So today we're going to be talking about helpful tips. And in my case, that's for ITSM tool selection. Do not tune in and watch. It will be very, very boring. But in terms of Ecamm and what I am doing here, it's a little bit different. So the flying road there is just a little video clip from Keynote. So I've just imported that video clip. The text itself, I'll just bring that in using Ecamm text overlays, because I can then do that one at a time. Obviously in this case I've just brought it all up at once because I don't want to keep you on here forever. But the idea here is that I'm making maximum use of the screen estate. So if I was sitting in a box rather than sitting on green screen, which I obviously am, then clearly half of that diagram would be, or a quarter of it would be covered up. Whereas at the moment I can sort of expand myself as big as possible and still get that whole eye contact thing going on and have the diagram as big as possible. So if I was in that box, I would either have to be smaller in the box or the diagram would have to be smaller. So that's kind of the advantage which I see of layering things up like this. So just for those who are interested, if you want to know what layers are going on here, in the background I've got like a black background with a grey cross on it. That's at the very back. I then have a little video clip going on over the top, which I've colour coded to match everything else on my slides. So there's sort of green and a bit of pink and grey going on, and I've faded that right down so it's totally subtle in the background. So in the very back it's a picture, then on the top of that we've got our little video going in a loop, so it's an animated overlay, and then on top of that we have our keynote graphic and indeed our text overlays in Ecamm as well. And those of you who've watched my stuff in the past will know I like to build everything up. So pretty much everything on here where it says ITM Explorers and tool selection, those are actually little not animations, are they? No, they're not PNG files anymore. They're SVG files because Ecamm can now support SVG. So I stick all of those in a library, and that allows me to move them around on my slide deck whenever I want to move them around and resize them accordingly. So they are no longer PNG files or peanut graphics, whatever they're called, scaled vector graphics instead. So that's how I've sort of layered those different elements up. So let's see what else I've got. I can't remember now. Yeah, so the whole point of this is to do sort of a cohesive branding for me. So these are a couple of my LinkedIn posts for my events. So these LinkedIn posts, of course, match what I do on a live. And I think that's relatively unique. Not seen many people do that, but of course I can do the pointy obligatory things and covering my mouth on all the posts and all of that sort of thing that's meant to attract attention. So those are the posts which people see on LinkedIn. And then when they see the live, they're going to see pretty much identically the same thing that they've seen on the posts, which is what I wanted to do. And so far so good. Today I haven't got my co-host with me, so you're going to have to pretend, because it was going to be me and me. So today I am Steve and Martin, but you're just going to have to imagine that we are different people. And I bring my co-host in on a green screen. And if you just bring them in on a native green screen, don't get them to do anything. Don't get them to do anything in Ecamm in particular. Just get them on a green screen. And then once they are in Ecamm, you can set the transparency and the fade level and anything else that you want to in the zoom and all that sort of thing under the guest 1 camera, or in my case I assign guest 1's camera to camera B, so I go make all the changes to camera B, knowing that they will flow down the deck wherever camera B is. So that's what I do when my guest comes on. And again, we're just trying to make use of the available screen space. So what I tend to do is do something like, tell you what we're going to do next, we're going to explode some myths. And then I'll ping some text up at the top, and myself and Steve will talk around the text for however long, in our case, going on for an hour. But I might do something along those lines, or alternatively, other tricks and tips that I've used. I've sort of stuck some tickers in the background so that as we're actually talking, I can either bring up things that are about to happen in the deck and try to get people engaged and wanting to stay tuned. I can also put in some bits behind me. So if I'm talking about ITSM tool selection, it would be words like service desk and efficiency and all those sort of things, and automation and chatbots. And so I'd have those just going in the background behind me as I'm talking with my co-host. So they're kind of a subtle reminder in the background, and I'd probably slow them down. In this case, there's a lot of text in the download area, but by just dropping things in the background, I think that people can process quite a lot of things all at once. So they're looking at stuff, but they can process far, far more. So that's the kind of things that I do in the background. So if they're saying stay tuned for a free download, then when we get to the free download, I just do something like this. And in comes my free download, and people can go scan that. Don't bother going to that YouTube channel. Don't bother subscribing to it, because it's all to do with IT service desks, so that will be very, very boring. But it's just a couple of sort of hints, tips, tricks, and a different way to present things from the normal sort of everybody in a box or at one side of the screen or something like that. I'm experimenting with it, but so far it just looks very, very different from all the other sort of Zoom-esque, Team-esque type presentations that I'm seeing, and even some of the other better ones. It just looks a little bit different. So each to their own, no right or wrong, but hopefully you've enjoyed that today, because that's all I've got for you. It's 16:11 in the afternoon, and I got a new TV to go and install because my existing one broke. So see you later in the group, and if people want me to break this down a little bit further, I guess I could do that in live demo mode at some point or other. Not prepared for that today, hadn't had the time, but see you later. Cheerio, bye for now.